It was well over 9 o'clock at night as the last bus left Kazipet for Hyderabad. It was actually scheduled to reach Hyderabad by this time, but the sudden breakdown 30 miles before reaching Hyderabad had detained it for over 3 hours, much to the consternation of the passengers. As it stands, if all goes well, they would reach Hyderabad only an hour past midnight, rather an unnatural hour to knock at the doors of friends and relatives. Added to that, the storm was threatening to raise its ugly head every moment by the minute. The dark, huge clouds were gathering, growling fiercely, threatening to send it down a heavy downpour. The deafening roars of the thunder and the occasional flashes of lightning followed each other at an alarming frequency and sent a chill down the spines of the passengers. In this East Indian summer thunderstorm, as if it was not enough, wind blew loud and fast, raising a storm of dust that was hurtling past the bus with fearful velocity. Far away could be heard the deafening noise rising above the monotonous hum of the bus, as if a giant tree had crashed. Suddenly there was a clonk and the clanking noise of 1/4 inch hail pounding on the windshield and the tin roof of the bus. In addition, as if this mayhem was not enough, it started pouring rain. The elements, it seemed, were determined to direct their acrimonious ferocity mercilessly against the hapless passengers. There were all sorts of passengers in the bus, young, old, ladies, gents, townsmen, villagers, all making their way to the town. For hours, the businessman talked effortlessly as if from memory, while the clerk seated next to him shook his head in agreement to what all he said, which seems to give the businessman a plenty of satisfaction. There was this old school master talking away happily as if the passengers were all his primary school kids. The man seated next to him, one of the Panchayat board's members, the head of the village, Munsaf, was particularly resentful of the headmaster's attitude. At the far corner sat a bearded dignitary who appeared more a recluse than one who would accept life at its face value. There was something solemn about the appearance of his beard, as if he knew something. He sat peering out of the window at the darkness in silence. The weather is very unkind, said one. The weather is very kind, the businessman was saying. This bus threatens to be more unkind at the way it is jerking along. But see that vulnerable old Shastri. Oh, how unkind of him to occupy 2 seats comfortably, especially when that young lady is standing for hours. There were all along some open seats in the bus anyway. Why was he picking on this old man? By now the storm had begun to hit with savage fury, as if it was out to destroy anything that came in contact with it. The rain poured down in torrents, getting fiercer by each moment. The driver slowed down and looked back at the conductor. Seems as if we started at the wrong time. Can't turn back either. Don't know what to do. True, true. I am myself very anxious to reach home, but the wind and the rains are retarding us. Will it be safe to go ahead? Especially as we do not know the state of the bridge across the Posamikunta River? Well, if the causeway is submerged, we stop there and turn back in the morning. For now, let's drive on with vigilance, the driver said. Soon they came to the causeway and crossed it without any incident. The danger is all over now, said the driver as he pressed the accelerator, and all the passengers who held their breath for the past half hour in tense excitement breathed freely. Suddenly, a voice was heard. Driver, stop the bus immediately. Quick, stop, quick. Everyone looked at the direction of the voice. It was the Shastri, all right. He was standing up, and his face was panic-stricken. He was pale, breathless, as he shouted again at the driver. Driver, driver, sir, please stop. Don't go on. There is danger ahead. We'll all be killed. We'll all be killed, he pleaded. There were peals of laughter around from the passengers, driver, and the conductor. This fellow seems to be insane, all right, the Munsif said. Sir, I am perfectly sane. Don't argue. Stop immediately. Death is waiting ahead in the dark. I can feel it. The lines in my palm indicate. Hurry. Stop the bus. You're a palmist, are you? Beg your pardon. What do your hands indicate? Mocked the conductor. You are right. I foresee a dreadful accident. My own hands indicate death for me in few more minutes. Probably death to all. Major accident. Stop, please. Forgetting even to pick his bundle, he ran to the door at the front. The conductor caught him. They both struggled, the conductor trying to seat him back. The deafening roar, the flash of lightning, the pale face of the Shastri glowed in the flash. The wind roared. The raindrops were blasting away at the bus, creating an uneasy symphony of nature's wild orchestra. If you're not going to stop the bus, I have to save myself. Accident and death are sure ahead. I will save myself yet from clutches of fate. Bless my knowledge of astrology and especially palmistry. Death will be in a couple of minutes if this bus. No use reasoning with you. We are approaching death. Reason will not entice. Please, leave me. The wind picked up the speed at devil's pace. The bus started to struggle to go past the crosswinds. The tree tossed their heads helplessly, making weird sounds. The driver was struggling to steer the bus from the ditch and keep it on the road. Will you stop? Shouted the Shastri. The passengers by now had to regard him as a positive nuisance. They would have gladly stopped the bus and let him to fend himself in the storm. But for the driver's reluctance, I guess we have just a minute more for death, destruction, and accident. Stop, quick! Oh God, save me! He shouted wildly. Let me go! No, I won't! Conductor resisted. Recouping all his strength, he overpowered the conductor and made a sudden plunge out. The passengers screamed in horror. Their faces turned white. With a loud screech, the bus driver slammed the brakes. That very instant, hardly 5 yards away, the very spot where the bus would have been had it not stopped, a giant tram and entry crashed with a hellish roar and fell right across the road. Everyone were stunned, realizing and shouting, "The palmist was right. The palmist was right. The palmist was right," got down the bus and raced towards the Shastri. He was stone dead.